And the right wing's like, yes, I love how they the little kids like that. Go get them, Boy Scouts. Go get them, priests. Please vote for our and our Republicans say. Republicans, you're guilty, okay? And I'll tell you right now, the number one reason they constantly talk about is because it's going through their heads. Non-stop, they're thinking about kids. I guarantee it. The reason Tim Pool wears a beanie is because he's trying to contain the that's in his head. That's why he's always talking about it. He's seeing it everywhere. Why? Because he's projecting.
If I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are giving, where you are pleasuring the animal.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering with an absolute metric ton of news today. If you haven't yet, wherever you're watching me, make sure you subscribe. YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, I don't care where you choose to consume my content. I'm just glad that you do. But please do consider letting me earn your subscription today. So little Timmy Pool, little Tim fence sitter, Tim Pool, as everyone will say, has really angered Twitter. And it's been a while since there's been a concerted cancel culture or cancellation of him. And this one is pretty wild because the amount of outrage and anger and over the line, threats on his life and things of that over a single tweet, a tweet that is pretty easy to understand, but a tweet that is being purposely misrepresented by the left. I know, you're shocked. You're completely shocked. And we're going to get into that story after a real quick word from this video's sponsor. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Kamikoto. That's right, Kamikoto makes Japanese steel kitchen knives using traditional techniques from Japan. Over 800 years of Japanese technology and expertise have gone into creating the steel that this knife has been meticulously handcrafted from, using techniques that date all the way back to the Edo period of Japan. Kamikoto only uses steel sourced from mills in Japan. Each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty wood box. It makes sure that the knife is stored safely. Each knife is individually inspected and comes with a lifetime guarantee. These are knives that I personally own and use. I got a set through this promotion. Over Christmas, I used it to cut a beautiful brisket that I had made for the holidays, and cut ham and turkey and all sorts of things. Not only did it work flawlessly, but it was a talking point at the table. The knives felt like the perfect weight. They were perfectly balanced. And on top of all of this, just for you, my subscribers, you guys can get an additional $50 off any purchase you make with discount code TheQuartering. So click the link below and go to kamikoto.com/thequartering and use promo code TheQuartering to save an extra $50 today. All right, now this is the tweet that launched 1,000 rees, and people saying heinous things. That guy everyone calls chunk yogurt or whatever. Remember the Young Turks? Remember when they were like relevant? Remember when they were an actual political adversary? And now they've been reduced to an aging old man screaming at clouds and an aging woman screaming at lower clouds. There's really not a lot going on with the Young Turks. And I think that, their relentless kind of attacks on Tim Pool, and of course, expertly ignored by MC. Tim is a better man than I am in terms of that. I'd get down in the mud with them, with the Buffalo. But that said, I'm glad he does ignore it, because it leaves a little spot for little old me to respond. Tim and I don't agree on everything, but I do think that this tweet was masterfully put, a perfect honeypot for outrage. Essentially, Tim's getting really good at that. We shouldn't tolerate P words doing the G to kids. The club had an event, which was, I believe, one of those infamous drag shows for the youth. How do we prevent people going over the top and stop the G word, we'll say? A fair question, right? Obviously the insinuation. Now we know more about this incident And there's a lot of inconvenient truths about the person, the idiot, the loser, the criminal that did this. Make no mistake about it. There are, there are things about this event that are like, oh, that's inconvenient for the media. They identify as they, them, and they're, and they use MX pronouns or whatever. That just came out last night, which is, you're kind of like, but then also you're like, dude, people died. And like, that's, and that sucks. And hating anybody for who they are, or, things that, it's just not okay. And I've never accepted that on this channel. I understand people make jokes, and even I will too. And I think that that's okay, just as long as people kind of remember, like, hey, like at the end of the day, people lost their lives because of this loser. Yes, it's funny that it's an inconvenient, it's like one of those, oh, wait for the story to disappear. Oh, the defendant's using they, them pronouns. Watch CNN melt down. I have a whole video on it later. It's pretty funny. Like they don't know what to do. Like they literally short circuit on air. And I think perhaps that's why people are so sensitive about this. Kurt Schlichter writing, I don't think we have to tolerate P words because some a-hole did something insane. Frankly, a lot of people are trying to convince us that we need to tolerate them, seem to be happy to excuse and silence our opposition. Also, a pretty spicy tweet. I'm not, Kurt Schlichter, that's ex-armed car wash. Okay, all right, okay. Pretty spicy tweet. And then, so essentially, Tim is saying, hey, I consider these type of events, the dancing men, when targeting kids, to be, over the line. And I agree with Tim on that. It's worded like in a way that people are basically saying, well, Tim supports this. You see, if you look at some of these tweets, like here's this person that got 10,000 likes. Tim Pool bravely coming out in support of the person who ended 5 people's lives. Again, that's not what he said. It's not even close to what he said. He was literally asking the question like, hey, these events are going to keep happening. And I wonder, how can we stop both? I think maybe that was purposely like, worded in that way. But, also, by the way, remember the brick thrower? Remember the brick thrower in New York that everyone's like, oh, here we go again. Well, it turns out the brick thrower was also a member of the LGBTQ community. So, I mean, in both scenarios, as far as we know, the bad actor, it was not a hate crime. It was not a because of them being gay or whatever the case. And we'll find out more about, the Colorado lunatic. But again, like 10,000 people, and then like but he's just asking how to stop the bad behavior. No, he isn't. He's literally spreading lies that justify it. No. And like, I'm so tired of seeing people in my community get harassed. And by the way, the guy that did it was a member of your community, at least from what his lawyer has said. And, you see Tim, Tim Pool is a Terry, full stop. You see Emerson T. Booking, writing, this is the clearest celebration of American mass passing on the platform since Charlottesville. What's worse, Pool's intimates that more bad behavior is coming if his anti-LGBTQ agenda is not met. I don't really see that in the tweet. I guess this one, it seems around 10. They posted around having some sort of all ages show the next day. About 2 hours later, the person showed up. People keep calling for wood chippers, and this is what happens. I would say that is an incorrect tweet by Tim. We don't know what motivated that person, but he's also not calling for it. He's not saying go do this stuff. He's saying, hey, people have their breaking points, and unless we meet in the middle, unless we can agree on very specific facts, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this stuff for all ages, or maybe we should have some levels of decorum. Instead, it's all or nothing on both sides. Then so you're going to keep getting these people. When you only deal in like the extremes, that's who gets a part in the conversation. I mean, then you see like Senk go off on like this absolute unhinged rant that I literally can't even play But he specifically and without question calls Tim the P word, that he wears a beanie on his head to cover up all his thoughts about kids. I mean, that is a libelous statement for sure. Like, and I don't really understand. You see, Tim Pool leftists are sending me threats on my life and doxing me because I'm smarter and more handsome than them. This needs to stop. Like, Tim is not really concerned with this. They're just playing directly into his trap. However, the issue is that, like, when you have, Cenk Uygur going off, you saw it in the intro of this video, going off on this, and you see, like, even the responses, like, what is his problem, and does he know he has one? I don't want to insult Alex Jones, but this rant is a little, LOL, what a lunatic. I think he's tilted because the horse rejected his advances. I think, like, Cenk got to, Dame Pesos got Cenk to trend on Twitter because of this. How is this different than an AJ rant? I don't understand. I think that you don't do, any favors by, taking away, their agency, or by overusing that word. But that's what the Young Turks have done, directly calling Tim the P word, because he wears a beanie, apparently. Absolutely disgusting. They fell for Tim's trap yet again, and they really showed their rear. If you want, you just look at the Tim Pool trend. It's full of people just saying vile things, wishing terrible things. Someone posted Tim's address. I must retweet it to show everyone that isn't okay. Like, people supporting doxing him just because of a tweet. Tim and I, if you didn't know, we had similar people swatting us basically daily for months. Okay? Daily for months. We could have been killed for our opinions online. My dogs, I worry about them, like, all this stuff. And, like, because how people, Cenk is right. It's fascists, like, and reactionaries like Tim and the Republicans who are the P words. Yeah, you don't sound reactionary at all. I don't really understand. I don't really understand why Tim lets these people lie on him like that. Like, I would definitely be hitting Cenk with a libelous lawsuit, because you just can't be going around calling people that. But that's the left for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.